Hello. I see somebody's already here. Just want to talk about keto, and any general misconceptions that we might have with keto. If you have any questions or comments, just type it. I'm not going to start talking until I know what we want to talk about. It's my first time doing this from the laptop. There we go. We got a couple people. All right. Now, one of the things I want to talk about is the supplements that I take as well while I'm on keto. So, if you guys have any questions, if you want to see anything, Gonzo gave me the idea earlier, and I thought it'd be a good idea for me to talk about it while I'm on. If you guys are here and you haven't checked out Going Gonzo, you need to check him out. I'm subscribed to him, so if you look through my subscriptions, you'll see where he's at. Check him out, subscribe. Questions, guys, questions. Let's get these questions rolling. Hopefully we get more people in here. Question. I'll grab the stuff that I take real quick. And then you guys type something. What's going on, guys? Somebody type something. I don't see nothing from nobody. We got Trigger Shy. So you guys know I do the ketogenic diet. I've been doing it for 18 months now. I have lost about 130 pounds. It's changed my life. I've still got probably a good solid 40 pounds to lose, and that's kind of the mission that I'm on right now. I want to lose that last 35, 40 pounds, and then I'll be happy. Then maybe I'll continue to lose more, but that's about where I compete at, where I like to lift at. What kind of questions do you guys have about keto? Yeah, I don't even know who's here. I can't see who has joined and who hasn't joined. Some of the stuff that I take is some of the stuff that Dr. Berry himself recommends. So, especially for the people that have an issue using the bathroom every day, magnesium citrate from Now. I just take one general serving of this, which it's 400 milligrams. Magnesium citrate is really good to get you to pass bowel movements and stuff. And this company Now is a phenomenal company. It's a local company here, but you can see their stuff all over the world. And at first, I didn't know that they were local, and I started like looking into it. And I actually went to their facility. They gave me some free products and stuff. I told them who I was. I told them how I had a keto group on Facebook, and really like their products. Really good Christian family. They got a big giant research lab. It's a big, huge warehouse looking building. It's massive, and it's just a really clean product. And I just take 3 capsules. It's a vegetarian based capsule, so it's not, no foreign products or anything are used. It wouldn't be kosher to somebody. And again, it's magnesium citrate. And look at the back of it here. I don't know if you can read that or not. It's 400 milligrams per 3 capsules. And it's all like magnesium, vegetable source, silica, clean stuff. So this is something I take daily. This helps me relax at night, sleep better, and use the bathroom better. So there's also a product out called Calm. It's a very popular product, especially with women. They like using it. It relaxes them better at night. They sleep better. One of the keto pages I was on, actually, the husband-wife team that created Calm was on there, and they actually gave a discount. I'll have to try to figure out which one it is. So if you guys are interested, what I'll do is I'll post a discount link there if I can get a hold of them. But if not, this is the product I use, and I really recommend it. I don't make anything off these people. I'm not sponsored by these people. I just like their product. And this is the one that Dr. Berry recommends it all. So if you go to actually Dr. Ken Berry and you actually YouTube his supplement recommendation, he just gives the basic stuff that people simply are deficient in a standard American diet. And even on a ketogenic diet, this can help you get through a lot of that, especially with some of the constipation issues people talk about. This really help you. You get a lot of this in green vegetables, but I take this anyway. For those of you that have an issue digesting and gallbladder has been removed, maybe you just don't produce enough bile, so you have to throw in some extra bile salts. I don't have that problem, like where you would buy an ox bile with digestive enzymes in it, but I just buy like this regular digestive enzyme from Whole Foods, and I don't take it every day. I take it during those times where I consume like large amounts of vegetables, because my body gets real bloated and I retain a lot of water and it's kind of hard for me to digest it. So I'll take this with my food to try to help me digest it, and it helps me. Then vitamin C. I take 2 of these every day, and one of these is 500 milligrams. So I take 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C. It's really hard to overdose on vitamin C, but what ends up happening when you take too much vitamin C is you get like a diarrhea effect. You can have some digestion issues. So a lot of doctors will actually prescribe overdoses of vitamin C for people that have constipation issues, and they'll overdose them purposely just so they can get them to use the bathroom. But also remember, vitamin C is a water soluble vitamin, so it passes very easy. But also at the same time, it can cause some digestive problems, diarrhea. It'll clear up constipation. So I take vitamin C daily because we simply don't get enough vitamin C in our diet. Vitamin D3, I take this every single day. I ran out of vitamin K2. I got to go to the store tonight to get it. But this vitamin D3 is 5,000 international units, and I take 2 of these every day. We do not get enough sun. There's only, but just like Dr. Berry says, there's only a few months in the year when you actually do get enough sun, and you have to be in a certain part of the United States for hours out in the sun in order to get that. And I was listening to a podcast. This was years ago. Dr. Berry said he was listening to the same thing, but it was just a different podcast. And I was listening to this guy on the radio talk about how deficient the Western civilization is, and probably all over the world, but I know they were predominantly talking about the Western civilization in vitamin D3, vitamin K2, and zinc. And when I ran across Dr. Berry's videos, again, if you haven't checked him out, it's Dr. Ken Berry. He's a doctor from Tennessee that I could honestly say he specializes in the ketogenic diet. The guy's a genius, knows a lot about it. Best thing to do is just start watching his videos and just soak it in. He's probably one of the only doctors out there that doesn't push a bunch of prescriptions and pills and stuff at you and everything else. He just tells you to eat food, eat good food, and don't be scared to do it. And just try to live a ketogenic style of life. But the worst thing that you can do is stick refined carbohydrates and sugar in your mouth and expect that you're going to have this phenomenal lifestyle. And it's simply not true at all. You can be as healthy as you think you are on the outside, but inside be tearing yourself up. So that's where that whole term skinny fat comes in. You can be fat all over on the inside, but skinny on the outside and not even know it. And you can almost be pre-diabetic or insulin resistant and not even know it. It's almost impossible to know until you're right on it, until it's too late. So I suggest if you're going to change, you change now. You don't wait. You change now. Vitamin B12. I take a methylated form. I seem to get better energy release out of this. I was reading a bunch of stuff where they're saying a methylated base actually absorbs better. I read other stuff to say that's not necessarily true. I just know this is a vegan style B12, and I take 1,000 micrograms in here, and I take 2 of these per day. So I take 2,000 micrograms of vitamin B12. This is another thing that we're really deficient in. And when you're looking into your mitochondria health, there are some things in your mitochondria and your gut health in general that we typically don't feed it enough. If you get a really good clean source of your vitamin B12, amino acid complex, if you have stuff with collagen in it, like bone broth, sour stuff like sauerkraut, cabbage, asparagus, Garlic and asparagus are a prebiotic. So the natural probiotic that you have living in your microbiome, garlic and asparagus will feed that. Garlic's a little bit, or asparagus is a little bit harder for your body to break down, but it is a good prebiotic food for your probiotic. And if you can engage your microbiome, you have to think about what ends up happening when you have, like, people with gluten intolerances. There's a lot of this misconception out there. People actually think they know what a gluten intolerant is. And like, gluten is this poisonous food. Even doctors on YouTube, you'll see them explain it a certain way, and it's simply, they make it way too complicated and they don't explain it correctly. A lot of times what ends up happening, gluten is like a protein, and that the protein gluten, the molecules or the amino acid chains are all tied together. And what happens when you eat gluten, it has to go into your body has to break it down into individual particles. So when it gets down into your small intestine can absorb the gluten properly. People have problems breaking down gluten because the amino acid chain is so strong. My words, not the medical words. The amino acid chain is so strong, it doesn't like to be broken down. So that full chain won't actually start the digestion process in your stomach, and it'll actually go into the small intestine unbroken. And then your small intestine will not be able to absorb it properly, and it starts causing inflammation and blockages in your digestive tract. That is the reason people have inflammation in their digestive tract. It's not because gluten is this poisonous food or whatever, and it causes all these. It's simply a falsity. It's not true at all. It's that your body can't break it down, and it has a difficult time breaking down in gluten form. Now, that's not everybody. And if you do have a gluten allergy, you can have a gluten issue right now, but then, clean up your diet, and 3 years from now, you've pretty much got a healthy microbiome and digestive tract, and you've brought yourself down to a maintaining weight, and you're just really healthy. And then you accidentally pick up something with gluten again, and it goes through your body, and you're like, wow, I just had gluten, and it didn't dawn on me, and I was completely fine. Well, you can heal yourself to have that. Do I recommend having that? Absolutely not, because statistically, so many people have issues with it that it's probably something I wouldn't tempt putting in my body. But at the same time, why even tempt it? So that's what gluten is. Gluten is just a strong amino acid chain, my words, that cannot be broken down properly in your digestive enzymes in your stomach. Gets into your small intestine. Your small intestine tries to start absorbing stuff and sending it to places accordingly, and it just never gets there because it actually swells up your digestive tract, and what I like to call them, the little doors that open up and allow nutrients to be sucked in and transported. It plugs them up, and it causes inflammation. And what I like to relate that to is like a vehicle. When you're going down the road in a car, if you have a bad wire to your oxygen sensor, and the computer is looking for an oxygen feedback coming from your exhaust, but it can't get the feedback because something's wrong with the sensor, it's going to set a check engine light. Well, that's like the inflammation in your digestive tract. You're eating food, it knows it's going in there, but the information is never being received back to say, hey, I'm receiving my nutrients now. You can start packing this away because I've got enough. You don't have to send it here anymore. Well, it's the same thing with the computer in a car. It's sending information somewhere. It's never getting there so it can get it back, and it causes an issue like the inflammation in your body. Check engine light pops up. All of a sudden, you start feeling sick. You got digestive issues and stuff going on. Well, I like to relate everything to what I do in the car world. I'm a master ASC certified mechanic. I'm a journeyman mechanic, and a lot of the same concepts that doctors use when they look at the body and the flow charts. Okay, this is sending a signal here. This has got to happen here, but it's not receiving it back here. So what's the common denominator? If this problem's going on and that problem's going on, this one thing can cause both those problems. So let's just look at this one thing right now. Let's see if that's screwed up. Well, long story short, I had a guy come on the page. He says, my doctor's telling me that I have a fatty liver. I have stage 4 kidney disease. I have a thyroid problem. My digestive tract's all screwed up. I'm constipated all the time. I'm a walking health hazard, Rich. I don't know how much longer I'm going to make it. I'm going to die. I said, well, I'm not a doctor. And I said, do you feel comfortable talking to me about stuff? Because I don't want you to take anything that I say 100% and go do it. Well, I told the guy, I said, look, I'm going to give you some ideas on what I think. I'm not a doctor. I've just been doing this for 8 years. I look into medical studies. I read books and stuff like that. And I said, if you've got constipation, what does constipation cause? It's going to cause problems with your liver. Well, if you got problems with your liver, you can't convert T4 to T3. Your thyroid's going to have all kinds of problems. Your liver is going to have issues. I said, look, man, honestly, I think what you should start doing is have you had an iodine test? Are you getting enough iodine? And he said, you know what? I haven't had that done. I said, can you make sure, can you have your labs done and see if you're getting enough iodine? Well, he went back and he looked into his iodine issue and he said his doctor told him you are kind of low on iodine. So he increased his iodine just a little bit, sea kelp. I just had him simply get a small bottle, like 250 micrograms, I think, of iodine. And I think he took like either 250 or it was like 200 or something a day. And that alone started making him feel better. And he actually started losing weight. And then I had him start taking the magnesium citrate before he goes to bed and excuse me, and start eating more cruciferous vegetables and stuff. And that was helping keep that extra estrogen that was being produced in his body because the liver wasn't able to function properly. So it wasn't filtering the estrogen out of his body. So it was like still floating around in there. So I had him increase cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus, Brussels sprouts. When he started doing that stuff, started taking the magnesium citrate, 600 milligrams before he went to bed, and then taking a little bit of iodine. I talked to the guy about 3 weeks later, and he said, you know, all the inflammation under my skin, like all of it's gone. I'm not urinating as much anymore. I have no constipation problems. And it was simple as just checking the basic things because my doctor just missed something. And with talking to you, which I'm not a certified health coach, I just have been doing this for 8 years and I don't claim to be. I tell people, look, I can give you advice and you can either follow it, not necessarily 100%. I always encourage you to talk to your doctor about it, or you don't have to listen to me at all. I don't get paid for this. So it's you do it or you don't do it. It doesn't matter to me. It's not illegal to give somebody food advice, simply food advice. Sea kelp is food. So if I recommend somebody eat more sea kelp, I can either tell them eat more sea kelp or go get a sea kelp pill. I'm not messing with their prescription. So I think that's the fine line where all these people out here, they're professionals and dietitians and nutritionists, when they start learning about a ketogenic diet, they get very offended by guys like me that are giving other people advice. It's not against the law, and Illinois is one of the strictest states possible for medical stuff. If you are not messing with somebody's prescription medication that's prescribed by a doctor, I could tell you to eat anything all day. And if you choose to do it, that's your fault. You just have to find somebody that you trust. Health coaches, or whatever you want to call them, they have some leeway because they went through some training or whatever, but they still don't have no leeway. It's not an actual degree. It's not an actual program that you go to that's recognized by a state anywhere that goes down in a registry that says you're a health professional. So you can go spend $6,000 to go be a nutritional practitioner or a health coach or whatever it is. And you know, although a nutritional practitioner has went through a lot of extensive training, but a lot of those you can get through in a year. You can get through them in 10 months. It's up to you to decide what you want to do. Or you could just find some guy that's been doing it for a long time that has thousands of people behind him that can say, look, this dude may not be somebody else that that has a license and is all frou-frou with you and tells you can have all these sweets and desserts and BS every day. This guy's going to tell you the truth, and he's going to tell you what you need, and he's going to be kind of hard on you, and he's going to let you know that you probably shouldn't have ate that, but then I'll still support you at the same time and pick you back up. It's kind of my standpoint and where I come from. I'm just not one of those people that like to stroke somebody's feelings or whatever and just really sugarcoat things. I like to tell them like it is. I like to give them the information. I like to be there for them. And I'm not going to say, oh, girl, it's going to be okay, or buddy, it's going to be all right, man, you're going to get it. I'm going to say, hey, let's fix this. Let's get it going right now. Let's fix it. Let's move on. You messed up. It's going to happen. It's life. So now let's fix it. But anyhow, I don't know how I went off on that tangent. B12. I had recommended this to somebody in another group. The guy said he had lack of energy during the day. And I had this person jump all over me that thought she knew more about medical because she had been in the field 20 years as a nurse or something like that. And she says, you shouldn't be telling people just take B12, just take B12. And I said, show me one medical study. Show me one medical study where somebody has overdosed on B12. Show me one serious side effect that you can see that's documented where they've shown a case of a person being studied for overdosing on B12. I asked that question to Dr. Kowalski, and I went to a medical seminar, and I interviewed this doctor a little bit before and then after the medical seminar. I told him who I was from. I told him, I have a group on Facebook. It's a Keto Nation Official, and I run a very tight program. I let people keto however they want to keto, but I just don't want the arguing and stuff going on. And we have a really good group, and people love it that way because they're so used to coming from other groups where people bicker and fight and go back and forth. We don't do that. We just run a very tight ship, but we still have fun, post pictures, we talk to each other. And, every once in a while we'll get somebody honorary that we got to kick off the page, but that's very rare. Usually we work with them. And especially me, I just keep taking it for a while before I do that. And I told the guy, I said, have you ever seen an instance where somebody overdosed on B12? I had a nurse that was in the field for 20 years say, oh, you can't tell people to take 2,000 micrograms of B12 a day or 3,000 or 4. He said, no. Absolutely not. And he said, I'm a naturopath. I'm not for pushing any kind of medication and stuff on somebody. I'd rather see people get it through food than anything, but you're not going to overdose on B12. If you're not trying to go drink the whole bottle every day and take 10 pills, you're fine. Take a couple B12 in the morning. You're going to boost your energy a little bit up. You're going to feed your digestive tract. Your immune system's going to be a little bit healthier that way. You're not going to have any issues. So I move on from it. I asked Dr. Berry as well. I said, you can see if you look in my videos or whatever, it's one of the things I think in part 2, towards the end of it, which I gotta download the third part to that video. You can see where I specifically asked him. I told him I wanted to talk about supplements, and I already knew his answer because I had already seen his video, and it just was ironic because I had already been taking the stuff that he recommended anyway, because that's the stuff I didn't see any need to take anything else. So now I got 4 doctors that are telling me, without even knowing anything about me, that they're recommending the same thing. So that's what makes me feel good about what I do. That's what makes me feel good about how I do things. It may not be the perfect way all the time, but I get results and I help people. And that's my main goal. Is we have a $400 billion crisis. And I call it a crisis because this is across the whole world, where we're costing the medical industry $400 billion because people are basically fat and out of shape. They don't know how to eat. They've been fed the wrong stuff, calories in versus calories out. You don't eat this kind of stuff, eat that. Just stop. Just quit with all the crap already. It's not calories in versus calories out. When you do that, you lower your metabolic rate. You destroy somebody's digestive system. You screw up everything about their body, and it just doesn't work that way. So what I don't understand is, I don't understand why people keep latching on to this calories in versus calories out. Oh, just do more work and eat less, you'll lose weight. It doesn't work. I've tried that. You might lose 2 or 3 pounds, 4 pounds, 5 pounds. You might even lose 20 pounds. You might lose 50 pounds, but you do it so fast that when you stop eating, look at yourself a year later and see if you didn't gain all that weight back. It may not even be in the same place. It may be harder to notice because instead of it being in your midsection, you store it in your legs, in your chest, your arms, and you don't notice it right away. But you get on a scale a year later and you go, man, I gained 24 pounds back. I just lost 20 pounds a year ago. Calories in versus calories out does not work. You have to put the right calories in your body. Every calorie is not the same. If I went and had 100 calories worth of vegetables, it has a ton of fiber and stuff in it, minerals and vitamins, phytonutrients. But if I turn around and I have 100 calories worth of sugar, what do you think is going to happen? If calorie is a calorie is a calorie. I was watching another keto girl that she left keto. She's not doing keto anymore. And one of the first things she talked about is a calorie is a calorie. And I was like, wait a second. No wonder why you left keto. No wonder why you're not on track anymore. Because that mindset is not what's going to help you, because it's not the truth. Go lay down, girl. Go. A calorie is not a calorie. You can have 100 calories of, protein. And I don't know if you guys know, 1 gram of protein is 4 calories. 1 gram of carbs is 4 calories. 1 gram of fat is 9 calories. You can have twice the amount of protein and carbs to equal 1 gram of fat. So if you have more fat than the other ones, you'll actually pull down your appetite and it'll satiate you longer. Just throwing that in there real quick. So more fat, less carbs, moderate protein is what's going to actually do you better. Being on a ketogenic diet, you can do it vegan style or you can do it the classic style, which I don't recommend because that's almost 90% fat. Probably somewhere more about 75 to 80% is where most people start, and that's where they stay. They just adjust their macros as they go. So I was listening to this girl talk, and she was saying a calorie is a calorie is a calorie, and that's not true at all. And most of the things that she was saying was not even, she wasn't even following a real good plan. She was all over the place. I tried this and I tried that and I tried all this stuff. The more stuff that you try and you don't stick with it for a while. So that's why you see when I do this vegan thing, I'll do it for a week and I'll get off of it. I won't stay on it because I don't, that's not just not my vegan keto is not my thing. I just wanted to try it to experience it. And I knew by day 7, I couldn't sustain it anymore. My energy levels were down, the gassy bloatiness in my belly and stuff like that were causing issues. I was having to go to the bathroom a lot, which I did not like. So I had to get off of it. What if I stayed on that long term and then I just bounced around? I went to something else. I went to something else. I went to something else. I would probably be in this girl's boat. I'd be in the same situation. Well, keto doesn't work for me. I'm done with it. It doesn't work. It makes me. And then I would come up with a list of things to justify why I did it wrong. Because as humans, that's what we do. We like to justify why we're making a decision to do something when we know deep down we didn't give it everything that we had to actually make sure that it works. And a ketogenic diet is very forgiving, but at the same time, you do have to have some kind of base. There has to be a base to it. And I was listening to, was it, I don't know if it was Gonzo or I'm not sure if it was Gonzo or who it was earlier. You have to remember that, and I like the terminology that I think Gonzo said it, or if it was somebody else, where ketogenics is like the base of a tree. It's all got to come together in some form or style. But if you want to grow that tree and you want to get it up nice and big and tall, and you want to open it up wide, that's where all the different styles come in. But it all starts at one specific way. Everybody knows that you got to start ketogenics in a certain fashion. You got to get into ketosis. And there are some things that can inhibit that at first. But it's like a tree. It starts out the same and then it kind of branches off and you make it yours. But as long as you're in ketosis, you're doing a ketogenic style diet, you're going to heal all kinds of things. I was insulin resistant. I had high blood pressure. I was a candidate for prediabetes. My A1C was, what was it? My A1C was 5.9. I was just about that threshold where my doctor was going to tell me I was a type 2 diabetic, and I reversed all that. I walked away from it. At first, for 6 months, I was on a vegan diet, and I would lose weight, I would gain weight. I would lose weight, and I would gain weight. I would adjust the macros that I was having, and then sometimes it would put me in a calorie deficit to the point where I just felt like I was eating myself alive. But then I would go right back to full nutrients where I felt a little bit better, but I was gassy and bloaty all the time. It just didn't work for me. So I said, you know what? Stop listening to what the nutritionist at the VA is saying. Stop listening to what your doctor's saying. Get your butt out there. Take everything that you've learned the last 6 years and start using it. You've been low carb. Why all of a sudden switch now? Because some doctor tells you to. So I went back to low carb. And then I started looking into the ketogenic diet. And I was like, you know what? This way of life is for me. I can do this. This is exactly how I like to eat anyway. So why not? Oh, I lost weight like crazy. I think the first month I lost like 32 pounds. Second month I lost like 16 pounds. And then it was just consistently after that. It was like 10 to 20 pounds every month. And then it would be like where I would go through like a 4 or 5 week stall and then I would start losing weight again. I would go through like 2 or 3 week stall and I would start losing weight again. They're normal. You have to realize you start out here and then your weight loss drops and it flattens out and it drops and it kind of goes back up and then it drops and flattens out and it's all over the place. And what your body is trying to do while it's doing that is it goes through this level of homeostasis. You'll actually deplete that fat cell, you'll dump everything that's in it, and you just lost weight. But now your body says, wait a second, dude, you can't be doing that kind of stuff. I like to be in balance. I'm going to fill that cell back up with water. So it fills the cell back up with water, and you're like, man, I got on the scale a couple of days later. I'm like, wait a second, how did I gain that 6 pounds back? Well, you didn't gain the 6 pounds back in 3 days. You have to eat food like a madman in order for that to happen. It's almost impossible. What ended up happening is you filled that cell back up with water. And the next time you go through that weight loss period where you drop weight again, your body's going to go ahead and shed that water and probably the dead fat cells with it. So it's a process. It's a balance. You lose, you gain. You lose, you gain. You lose, you gain. And it's just, that's how it works. And then sometimes you can hold on to it forever. Not forever as in, I mean like forever, ever. I mean, just, it's going to seem like, wow, why am I still holding on to all this? And then you'll drop the weight. It's not always going to be that way. You could lose straight through 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks, and then all of a sudden come to a slowdown. And at that point, when you notice that you're slowing down, put that scale away, throw it away, put it in the closet, get rid of it, and actually hide it. And go for 2 or 3 weeks before getting back on that thing again. Go for a month before getting back on that thing again. Wait, tape yourself. Tape your section by your belly button all the way around. Do the highest part of your thigh where it's the biggest. Do your arms, the chest across your nipples. Go ahead and hit your neck. You can get one of those fat calipers to see if that works. Those are going to be some things that are a better indication of what's going on during those times than the scale is. Put the scale away. But if you get to a point where you're losing consistency, I'm definitely an advocate for actually getting up every morning, looking at that scale. Man, that's nice. Man, that's nice. But if you're a person that has emotional problems and you can't really focus on, like you feel like you're going to let yourself down by getting on that scale, don't do it. Put it away, get rid of it somewhere, live your life. Just remember, if you stress over stuff like that, cortisol levels go up. You're not going to lose weight. Cortisol is a stress hormone. Cortisol levels go up. Leptin levels from your visceral fat is going to go up as well. You're going to be stressed. You're not going to lose weight. So the point is to eventually get to a point like me. If I jump on the scale and I've gained 4 pounds, I'm like, whatever. I know it enough by now. I know the science. I've already lost over 130 pounds, you know. I look at it now and I'm just like, you're funny. Yeah, good joke, buddy. I see in another week when you're 6 pounds down instead of the 3 pounds I see that I've gained. Because that's the mentality you have to have. If you're one of those people that look at it like, oh my God, it's going to be difficult for you because you're going to see that's going to happen. And you just have to get to a different mindset where you're just like, yeah, I can fix that. So what? I gained a few pounds. I can get rid of it. Not a problem. So B12, I take 2,000 micrograms per day. CoQ10, I take 2 of these every day, and they are 50 milligrams. It's a definite antioxidant support. Let's see what it says. It's an antioxidant support, energy production, cardiovascular health. And Dr. Berry hit this when I was looking at him. People that take statin medications that take CoQ10 every day, they end up, this works with it. It's kind of like, it's specifically for stuff like that. So like you can even, I don't know if you can read on the bottom. See if I can get it to show. It says, you know, when coupled with statin medications, it works well. And let's see here. No gluten, yeast, wheat, milk, derivatives, lactose, sugar. It's got less than 5 milligrams of sodium per serving. I just buy the Walmart CoQ10. I'm sure there's a better product online. One of the other things that I take is I go to Whole Foods and get this. It's 1,000 milligrams of omega-3. We simply do not have enough omega-3 in our diet. I mean, and even if you did take more omega-3, it's not going to hurt you. Omega-3 is the most neutral omega that you can take. So we have omega-3, 6, and 9, and 9 is made in your body anyway. So 3 and 6. Omega-6 comes from stuff like sunflower oil, canola oil, vegetable oil, those oils that you shouldn't be having anyway. And too much omega-6 is a pro-inflammatory. So you'll actually get inflammation in the joints. You'll get inflammation in your digestive tract. It's not necessarily something that you need to have at all. I try not to even do it because your body can actually function off just omega-3 only. You can actually use omega-3 to do what omega-6 would do. That's supplement-wise, that's all I got right now. I was hoping I see somebody's still here, but nobody's asking questions. I'm not sure what else we should talk about while I'm on here. We can talk about some high protein, low fat, like the Atkins style diet. We can talk about the high fat, moderate protein, low carb one. We can talk about just carnivore only. I did carnivore for about 3 weeks where I just had meat only. I did not track. I just ate to my satiety until my body said quit. And it wasn't very much because meat is very heavy. And I actually lost 7 pounds the first week that I did it. Um, I enjoyed it actually. And there's a doctor out there. If you guys don't know who he is, his name is Dr. Sean Baker. Oh, Dr. Samuel Baker. It's either Sean Baker or Samuel Baker. Dr. Barry talks about him sometimes. And he is a pediatric surgeon. He's carnivore, straight carnivore diet. And the guy's a triathlete. I mean, he's in phenomenal shape. And I think he's like 50 years old or mid 50s, and he looks like he's 30. So I'd like to hear what some of the vegans say about that. He's healthy, no blood pressure problems, no anything at all. Let's see. I just got off 7 days of vegan keto. It's very difficult to do towards the end, but in the beginning it was fine. I actually think if I would have probably done 2 meals a day, it would have been easier to consume all those vegetables instead of doing 1 meal a day, which is OMOD. I find that when I do 1 meal a day, I never gain weight. Never, ever, 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 ever have I gained a pound doing 1 meal a day. I've been doing 1 meal a day for months now, and I notice that when I lose, and it goes down, and it goes down, and it goes down. I get stuck at one spot for a little bit, but then it goes down, and it goes down, and I'm like, man, this is awesome. 1 meal a day really gives yourself time to clean everything out. Your digestive tract, toxins and stuff that may be in your body, but you're already eating a ketogenic style diet anyway, so most of that stuff is going to be pretty healthy in general. But 1 meal a day for almost 2 months now, never gained a pound back. And I sit down and eat massive meals, like big meals, and people look at that and like, how could you eat all that meat? How could you eat all that food in one sitting? Well, when you only eat 1 meal a day and you've trained yourself to be okay with that, it's not that abnormal to you anymore. And the goal is to get total nutrients in for the day. It's not to skimp on your food and be in a calorie deficit, because that is never going to work properly. So I eat 1 meal a day, and I eat a lot of food in that 1 meal, and it works. It works perfectly fine. So 1 meal a day, some people will tell you that, you go like a 23-hour period and then you got an hour to consume that meal. I don't believe that's actually feasible. I think that if you do 1 meal a day, you could probably take your total nutrients in that 2-hour period and call it 1 meal a day, and it would be just as good. Just eat slow, or eat half of it in 1 hour and the half of it the next hour, and then be done for another 22, 23 hours, whatever it takes. And then there were some days where I come home even at the 24-hour mark, I'm still not hungry, so I'll just roll it into the next day and I'll do a 48-hour fast. And you do it so much, you're like, it's so normal for you to fast 36 to 48 hours without even thinking, man, wow, I just went 2 days without eating. And then you look at yourself and you're like, wow, I got this kind of vacuum look to me. My face is getting all skinny and stuff like that. I noticed that the muscles coming in from my chest here, I'm starting to feel them more. They're really like starting to come out dominant. My ribs are all sucked in, and the fat on the side of my chest is like the most difficult part. And on the muffin part of my belly, those are the last things that are going to go. It's normal. It's going to happen. But I noticed that stuff's all disappearing. And some people would look at me and say, well, you've been doing this for 18 months and you lost, 130 pounds. Well, I know somebody that's only been doing this for 6 months or 8 months, and they lost 140 pounds. Well, that's good for them. I'm glad that they did that, and I hope they get the results that they want. The short-term effect is great. I mean, it's phenomenal getting all that weight off. You probably getting your markers and stuff back in place just by losing weight. Well, what does your skin look like afterwards? What kind of surgery are you going to have $10,000 to $15,000 surgery just to have a a band of skin removed from the center of your body. So I like to take in some extra collagen. I will um, lose very slow. I might get 5 pounds a month, maybe 7 to 8 pounds a month. I'm not rushing it. I do not care. I don't even care if I lose in 1 month. I just care that I'm healthy. I care that I'm feel good from inside. I care that I can wake up in the morning and get out of bed without feeling like I really need somebody to help me sit up. I I I care that I can put my shoes on and I can walk around all day without feeling like my plantar fasciitis is killing me. It's completely gone now. I don't even have it anymore. I care that going to work, my thighs don't rub anymore, and that I went from a 54 pants down to pretty soon to be a 38 or a 40. Um, so it's all these people out there that talk so bad about the ketogenic diet, but then they look at how it affects somebody's life. Look at all these happy people that are not on metformin anymore. They don't have high blood pressure. They don't have sugar issues. They're living a healthier style of life, and they're being able to be there for their family more. They're proactive in their jobs. They're not hurting and miserable and in that state that nobody should ever have to live in, where you hate yourself, you want to kill yourself, you're depressed, you have so much anxiety. I went through all those phases. And I'm just so fortunate that God's helped me get to the point where I am now, to where I don't have to worry about that anymore. And I can help other people get to the point where they don't have to worry about that either. So for people that talk bad about meat eaters and stuff like that, I just don't get it, because you're trying to fight for a quality of life, and you're doing it with a moderate protein source. It's not like you're gorging yourself in it. And the ketogenic world is made out to be this horrible um, horrible thing that it's not even true, uh, because of the whole idea behind fat is bad for you and sodium is bad for you and stuff. I can tell you right now, and I'll be 100% honest with you, I won't bring up her name, but I've got a lady in the group right now that's got chronic high blood pressure. She's got type 2 diabetes. She's got a number of things going on with her. And she's she's at first she was about 1,500 milligrams of sodium, because that's like the standard requirement from the medical industry. And then I said, well, let's try 2,000. Well, she went up to 2,000. Her blood pressure started coming down a little bit over like a 2-week period. And I said, well, you can do it on your own, but you see what's going on now. Every little bit that we increase is actually starting to regulate you even more. And she got up to about 2,500, 3,000 milligrams in her of sodium per day, and her doctor was telling her to take it easy. Well, the doctor didn't see the need to have her on the blood pressure medication anymore. He pulled her off of it without her telling him what he was doing, and I did not tell her to do that. She did that on her own because she was controlling this. I said, I can only give you tools. You got to do the work with the tools. You can tell the doctor. You don't have to tell the doctor. It's not on me. It's on you. And I said, I read this book called The Salt Fix, and it basically goes through the whole freaking science base behind sodium, all the debunked studies and stuff that were done. It destroys every medical professional that has ever said anything bad about having such an important mineral in our life. And when I read that book and I started talking to her about the stuff that I was reading, it was more her decision than anything. And I was just helping monitor to start increasing her sodium. And I was just giving her the knowledge that I gathered from that book. And now she sits at like 117 to 120 over 80. Perfect all the time. No issue at all. And that simply is just bad information being put out by her doctor. Her doctor was telling her, don't have high sodium. Don't have all this fat. It's going to cause all these problems. Well, she started eating a ketogenic style diet. She started cutting back on some of her sodium, or adding to her sodium slowly. And then her doctor realized, oh, wow, you lost 30 pounds. That's why. That's why your blood pressure is back to normal. When she didn't even really tell him, oh, yeah, sure, you're right. That's why. It wasn't that at all. It was the fact that she was doing right for her body instead of following so much bull crap in the medical industry. You know, these doctors are out here to collect a paycheck. They're given basic information. And this is some of the worst stuff that you can possibly tell somebody, ketogenic wise. You know, I have a lot of people tell me, well, you're not a doctor. How could you tell people this stuff? Really? So you want me to go to a damn school to be a doctor where I'm forced to fit a certain agenda? Or else I'm going to be the black sheep of the family. So I'm going to go pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for a medical license that I'm going to have struggle to pay back the first 5 to 10 years of my career, if that. And you want me to go be a doctor where they don't even teach the stuff that actually heals somebody. I got to fit a certain criteria. Right. Try again. No thanks. I'm fine doing what I'm doing, making suggestions, running a group. I'm doing what I need to do to make myself happy, and I think that's where I need to be. Um, I go to the other vegan channels. I talk to them about stuff. Um, I try to leave comments and stuff to get responses back from the bigger channels like Happy Healthy Vegan. I really respect Ryan very much, but I think I misinterpreted the agenda of that group. That group is to basically support vegan eating, but at the same time, it is to shed the light on the naysayers of the vegan diet and kind of honestly it kind of dramatize it for viewer viewings to make viewers come in and actually watch it and see and make the vegan world look better than what it is. I respect the guy, but at the same time there's a lot of dramatic stuff that's being talked about, and it's just something that uh, I think it could be done a little cleaner, but I think that's just the style of his channel. It's like more like a talk show based kind of deal. It's reviewing and looking at things and then talking about it via clip settings on his channel, which by all means do your thing if that's what you do. I just think it could be done cleaner. It's just my opinion. And I believe in whatever way of eating a person chooses should be their way of eating as long as their goal is to be healthier. And I don't believe everybody should be on a ketogenic diet. I don't believe everybody should be on a vegan diet. I believe that you should be on the eating style that fits you, that makes you feel your best, that makes you as healthy as you can possibly be. And whatever that is, do it. Live your life. But I do know insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, and high blood pressure, things of that nature, people that come to a ketogenic diet, PCOS, I've worked with women the first month or two of me introducing a ketogenic diet to them, they get pregnant. They had their husband and them have been trying for years, and all of a sudden being on a anti-inflammatory diet, because that really is what the ketogenic diet is. The ketogenic diet is not a weight loss diet. It's a health diet. It's a health way of eating, and you just happen to have the symptom or the adverse effect of losing weight. But a ketogenic diet is an actual anti-inflammation diet. It's an anti-disease, anti-disorder. It cleans you up. It tries to make you the most efficient version of yourself, and the weight loss just comes with it. So I tell people now when they ask me about sodium, they say, what's the most important thing on a ketogenic diet? Well, sodium has magnesium and potassium in it. If you get a good, clean source of Himalayan salt or sea salt or Celtic salt, but mainly pink Himalayan salt from like the I think it's called the Quern mine or the Quern mountain. It's a mineral operation in India. KHWERN or something like that is where the Indian salt comes from, and the pink color that's in the salt is actually from rust naturally forming in the mineral, and it's got like 90 minerals of our chain in the salt. It's got magnesium and potassium in it in trace amounts, but it's still there. So when people ask me what do I recommend when they first start a ketogenic diet, 100% of the time it's more sodium all day. Sodium. You feel hungry? Sodium. You want water? Sodium. You just woke up in the morning? Sodium. A little pinch. Don't kill yourself with it, but pinches throughout the day just to keep that sodium level up, because on a ketogenic diet, it's also a diuretic diet. You flush everything. And if you don't have carbohydrates and if you don't have glucose to actually water molecule to bond to and help keep it in your system, your sodium is going to deplete, your potassium is going to deplete. So those two things have to come hand in hand, get replenished all the time. Not so much potassium, because your body will retain some of the potassium, It's the sodium that it flushes more than anything. But if you take pink Himalayan salt from India, make sure it's from India, not this weird operation from California where they flood retention ponds and add pink dye into it and then rake it until it. What they do is they'll open floodgates on a pond in California. They'll let the water in. They'll drop the floodgate. They'll actually dye the water, and somebody will actually wade into the water. It's probably only inches deep as it sits out in the California sun. And you know how California is already in a drought anyway, most of the time, where they say it is. Um, and they'll rake these ponds back and forth, and they just barely agitate this water. So as the water evaporates, those salt crystals and stuff will get pulled back and forth, and they'll bond, and they'll come back and forth, and they'll get bigger and bigger, and then you'll get like big jobs, like globs of salt crystals that form in these ponds. But because they dyed the water, well, now it looks like pink Himalayan salt. It's not. It's more just like regular sea salt. But they'll sell it to you in a bottle, and they'll call it Himalayan salt. It's not Himalayan salt. I just actually found out one of the pink Himalayan salt bottles that I had, right on the back of it, it says manufactured in California. And I was like, oh, man, I got taken. It's not Himalayan salt. It needs to come from India. If you look at the Himalayan salt at like Meijer or Walmart or something like that, you'll see on the back of it, you'll get in a little shaker grinder bottle typically. You won't find a big container of it because it would cost too much money for a giant container. You got to get that kind of stuff on the internet. Maybe some health food stores have it at a decent price. But I found the McCormick shaker on the back of it, just for that little small bottle, that shaker bottle, it said like made in India. And that little bottle alone is like $4 or $5. So can you imagine what a big bag or a big container of pink Himalayan salt from your regular grocery store would be? It'd be a $25 bag of salt. So you got to actually go somewhere where people can get that like an authentic bulk style where you can get a good deal for it, preferably Amazon. So that's what I do throughout the day is water and salt. I never supplement potassium anymore. There's no need for that. I never have a problem. As long as I keep salt in my body, I never have an issue with potassium at all. I don't have to supplement potassium at all, and I don't recommend people supplement potassium either. If you're eating, a decent amount of greens every day, that shouldn't be something that you have to worry about because you're going to get your potassium or magnesium or vitamin K, vitamin A. A lot of that's all going to come from the vegetables that you eat. But I still add a little bit of vitamin K in because we typically are deficient. And I'll add 100 micrograms of vitamin K every morning. I just ran out this morning, so I got to go grab some more. What else was it? There was something else I wanted to talk about. I'm spacing. So vitamin K. Yeah, I don't supplement potassium at all. The reason I don't supplement potassium is because I don't see the need to. And I even asked Dr. Berry in a live video, what does he think about potassium? And he automatically went right to sodium because potassium is in sodium. It might be just trace amounts, or it might not be a high dose amount, but sodium's the only thing. In water, I'll drink water throughout the day, but I found a long time ago that this half your body weight in ounces of water is not accurate at all. It's a bunch of hogwash. If you try to drink that much water and you're a larger person, you'll actually end up in the hospital in some cases. You can really hurt yourself. I just had a friend of mine tell me that her mother ended up in the hospital because she was trying to follow her trainer's advice at 55 years old. She was only 140 pounds, and this guy's got her drinking 1.5 gallons of water a day. And she ended up depleting her minerals and electrolytes in her body so much from drinking so much water. She ended up in the hospital with brain problems. Like something happened to, she went into this chronic migraine state and it wouldn't go away. It lasted for days and she was in so much pain, the ambulance had to come pick her up. And this just happened on the way home today. My friend was telling me about this. And when they ran all labs and stuff on her, they noticed she was depleted in all her minerals, all of them. Everything was like way down. They almost found no traces of certain things in it at all. And she said, well, what have you been eating? Well, I've been reducing my calories and I've been going to the gym a lot and I'm drinking a lot of water. Well, there you go. They started putting potassium and sodium back in her, and all of a sudden she popped right out of it within 24 hours and she was going home. It's Drinking that much water is ridiculous. Like now we know you should have a light straw colored urine. Light straw colored urine is phenomenal. It's perfect. You don't have to go past that unless you don't want to. But you also have to think about what we're never told or what we don't talk about. Everything that we eat, water, is in vegetables. It's in meat. It's in the soda drinks and stuff that people have. Water is in everything that we put in our mouth. So in some form or fashion, we're getting some moisture or water. And we don't talk about that. Like, do we really actually need all the water that people say we need? No, we do not. We need to drink water, sure. No doubt there. But we don't need to have, like, I might have 5 bottles of water a day, and then I might come home and grab a couple glasses if I feel thirsty. That's normally how it goes, but that's not nowhere near the water. Back when I was listening to a trainer, I was making myself almost think that I didn't know what I was talking about because I was in such a bad mindset with my depression and everything. But when I went straight keto, all that changed, and I was like, man, I don't even need to listen to these people. I know what I need. I just need to eat good quality whole food based keto, have some sodium and water, and I'll be good. And that's what I did. I didn't have any problems after that. It was it was just a really really good time, and I didn't find the need to overdo the water. And here I am today, down a lot of weight, very happy, trying to do my thing, and hoping in the future that I can turn this into like full time health coaching because I think I'm pretty decent at it. I would hope I am anyway. Um, I don't know, but other than that, I think that's really all I got for right now. And if nobody wants to say anything, I'm just going to go ahead and get off of here. I appreciate your time, and if you come across this video and you haven't subscribed or uh, hit the little bell notification, do so. I put out some good stuff sometimes. I'm not scared of what I put out. I get emotional when I do my work, and it comes through. It's because I care. I'm not following some group statistics. I'm not following a certain doctor's statistics. I don't follow nobody. I don't believe that anybody should follow somebody 100%. You need to do your thing. You know, if you think that I'm in this group, I have to do things this way because this group says that I have to do things this way. You're not in the right group. You need to figure out what works for you. You need to constantly challenge people in your life. You need to constantly come forward and say, show me why. Tell me why. I need to know more than just you pointing on pointing at a book and posting some. I want to know more. Work with me. Allow me to see what you're telling me through experience and your help then, if that's the case. Don't ever 100% trust anybody. Figure out for yourself what works for you. I don't know. Just know that your journey starts here. Your journey starts at day one, really wanting to dig in and start moving and finding a good support system and just moving forward. And when you find something that works for you, you don't change from that. You keep doing what works for you and you don't let nobody affect that. And I mean that. You do what works for you and you keep moving. And that's all you can do. All right. Thanks.